guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Emma and today I'm wearing a Twilight shirt. Today I decided we needed to address something. There's something that I just haven't talked about. I really need to talk about. I really need to talk about. I need to get off my chest. We need to, as a book community, as humans, people, we need to talk about Jacqueline Wilson. We need to talk about that woman because she owes me a lot of money. She owes me a lot of money. I was paying those checks for her. She owes me money in therapy. My therapy sessions are simply because of her. You might think, Emma, what is the biggest trauma to ever happen in your life? And some of you may be like, oh, parents divorced, you moved schools, brother died. No. It's Illustrated Mum. It's the Illustrated Mum. That's it. It's just... And I can't help it. Like, I can't help that it scarred me more. It was in my formative years. So the first ever Jacqueline Wilson book I read was, I think it was Sleepovers. It's the one about the alphabet girls. And like, they all had sleepovers for their birthdays. Now, all their birthdays were really close together, so I'm worried for their zodiac sign compatibility, which is kind of one of the reasons I think their relationships must have broken down. But then, like, the main girl, was it Daisy? I think it was Daisy. She had a disabled sister, and she was scared about having the girls over because they were like, what? I assume they were like 11 or something. And like, she was scared they'd like judge her or something. But she had the girls over, and then Chloe, who was like the mean girl, like made fun of the disabled sister. Her name was Lily, I think. And like went into school and started like claiming all these things. And like telling everyone Daisy's business. Now, if I was Daisy, I wouldn't be having it. But all her friends stuck up for her, as they should. Like, that's really not much. Like, that is the bare minimum, to stick up for your friend when someone's bullying her disabled sister. Like, bare minimum. But I can't talk about Jacqueline Wilson without talking about Tracy Beaker. Now, I hated her. I hated Tracy Beaker. She was so annoying. She was whiny. She kept making shit up. She was a compulsive liar. And she was obsessed with her mother being like a movie star. And I can't remember if she ever actually was a movie star. But she was so mean to her foster mom. We can't lie. She was obviously iconic. And I did feel bad for her. Her mom has bailed on her a lot. And I did feel bad for her. And then Justine Littlewood and like Elaine the Pain. I do feel for her. But like, Jesus Christ, was she freaking annoying. One of the books that I was most obsessed with Jacqueline Wilson. Hetty Feather. I was obsessed. I read that book, I would say probably 10 times a year. I loved it. That book was beat up. I don't have any of my Jacqueline Wilson books anymore, and I'm so sad about it. I don't know if I went with my cousin or if I went to charity shop with them. I didn't need them, so I'm not gonna hoard them. But I was obsessed. I was like Hetty Feather, Emerald Star, and Sapphire Battersea. I loved it. That's what got me really interested in history, was Hetty Feather. Also, I just found out that Hetty Feather was turned into a stage production and a show. Am I gonna have to watch it? Yeah, absolutely. Now I want to get on to the most scarring Jacqueline Wilson books. I'm just gonna start off with the one that comes to mind when I think of like the most scarring Jacqueline Wilson book, and that is Illustrated Mum. We talked about this. Most traumatic experience of my life. But I was just thinking back on it. Those names, she named her daughters Dolphin and Star. What did she expect? And honestly, Jacqueline Wilson's book covered so many interesting topics, or like important topics. Now let's be real, she had how many books and not one of them was a person of colour, but we move. The mum had bipolar disorder, which was really interesting. I don't think I even like caught that when I was reading it, but it's really interesting that she was able to put characters like that in mental illness and stuff, which is really good. One of the things I found really weird was when she tracked down her dad, when Dolphin tracked down her dad, he was like, I want to do this properly, and puts her in foster care. Hetty Feather was one of my top ones, but my numero uno was my sister Jodie. Oh my god, and that girl, she was up there, she felt... I was not expecting that, and every single time I reread that, like, I literally sobbed. I remember I read it in one sitting in this room, at the top of my staircase, on a pillow, because I have stairs, my room's in the attic, but I read it at the top of my staircase and bawled crying, and that was like probably the 12th time I've read it. I was obsessed with it. Oh my god. And then we have to talk about Cookie. Looking back at it, that dad must have had some sort of mental illness, but that excuses absolutely none of what he did. He was a dick, and when they finally ran away, I was like, period. Yes, get out of there. Then he turns up that. No. Can't remember how it ends, but it was scary. Also the same note as Candy Floss, or as Cookie is Candy Floss. That book was so good, but then freaking Chipper burns down and then they get a van. And her whole room burns down. I just remember craving Chip Buddies when I was reading that, and I wanted to be here. I wanted to live in a Chipper. Random goal, Emma, but each to their own. So, when we talk about Lily Alone, okay, so she was like, my mom's gone on holidays. I don't want to be put into care. Let's go live in a tree. Her first thought was, let's go live in a tree. Now, it's not really a traumatic story, to be honest. I didn't really find it that, like, traumatic, compared to the other ones. But what the heck? Like, literally what went through Jackie Wilson's mind when she was like, okay, new story, I need to get my money, like, I need my coin, I want a new house. Girl lives in tree. Huh? Another one that was just like, the one that sticks with me, that I haven't ever stopped thinking about, is Midnight. You know the one with the fairy on the cover? Or like she's on the cover and it's on the moon and it's purple? What? Like, she thought her brother was a changeling, like stolen by the fairies. Turns out he's adopted. And then one day, during Truth or Dare, he is a bit of a dickhead, let's be honest. But during Truth and Dare, she goes up to the attic and she finds that she had a brother called Will who died and then her parents replaced him. Crazy. And finally, can we talk about Love Lessons? Love Lessons. Her dad has a stroke. He's a dickhead as well. He goes into hospital, and because of that they have to go to school because they were homeschooled, and she gets put in like the lower class, like ordinary, I assume, or like, I don't know. And then like she falls in love with like her art teacher, and like does she babysit for the art teacher or something, and then she confronts him and asks him, do you love me? And he's like, yeah, he loves her. She's like probably 15, I don't remember, 15 probably, 14. And he's like, yeah. And then someone sees him hug, and he says he loves her, she says I love you or whatever. And then one of the girls goes and outs her in front of the whole class. And then here's the kicker. She gets expelled. And he has to move schools. And he gets to keep his job, even though afterwards, after she gets expelled, he's like, maybe we should run away. But then they decide not to. He gets to keep his job. No thank you. And then we have the runners up to the most disturbing Jackie Wilson books. Number 1, the whole Girls series. That was honestly kind of traumatic, but really not as traumatic as the other ones. Like, yeah, there was a lot of drama and stuff. Girls series, there was a lot going on there. I don't even know if I've read all of them. Another honourable mention to the cat mummy. Why did she mummify her cat and then keep it in her closet because she liked ancient Egypt? That is weird. That is so weird. I would have done that, but that is so weird. Like, what? And her name is Verity as well, and there's a whole thing about her being truthful. Anyway, weird vibes. Okay guys, that was it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questionable Jackie Wilson books, please leave them down below. Tell me your favourites, and if I should do this with any other authors from our childhood. Kathy Cassidy, I loved her. Judy Curtin, if I should do videos on them. I love them both. But yeah, let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye.